Okay, on their iPhone. Want to start and stop it? Just kidding.
Injury-wise, is Grayson Nurkic good for tomorrow?
Yes, good to go.
Okay. How much has this 3-game winning streak been a product of actually practicing on the court? Do you think?
Some of it. Anytime you have an opportunity to be on the court and work on the habits that are going to lead to winning basketball is I shouldn't say it's always productive. You want to make sure that you're managing your guys' legs. That's always the balance that all of us head coaches face throughout the course of the NBA marathon. And sometimes in the season you want to take advantage of 2 straight practice days like we did in New Orleans, and sometimes we want to keep them off their feet. So it's always a balance.
When you look at just even those 2 practices in New Orleans, how much was maybe the intensity ratcheted up in those practice settings?
Very much. Came off of an embarrassing loss, quite frankly. And, when you have 2 days coming off of a loss like that, you have everyone's attention.
Right.
So you can push them a little harder.
Coach, I know you got your start with video film session, being a video coordinator. How does that kind of influence the way you approach it? I know you've said that film sessions are really important to instruction and pointing things out. How does that kind of influence?
We all have strengths and weaknesses as head coaches, and I've always felt that's one of my strengths. I learned from 2 of the best in the business, Rick Pitino and Jim O'Brien, at dissecting the film, understanding how you can use those clips to improve your team. And I think that skill set, obviously, carries a lot of weight in college basketball where I began with those guys. But in the NBA, where practice time has gotten less and less and less over the years, to be able to improve your habits, okay, while guys are sitting in a chair, mentally watching the film, and then have that carry over into the next game is there's just a tremendous value in that. So I feel good about what we do.
Not to ask too much into the secrets of the trade, but when you're watching film, do you look for specific things, or do you just kind of let the play out and speak for itself? Like, how do you kind of go about it when you're watching film back?
Yeah, there's a lot of layers when you're scouting an opponent. You're looking for things that opposing teams have done, what you've done in the past. You're putting together a game plan. That's different than watching the game we just played last night. The game we played last night. I asked myself for every possession of the game, why didn't we score? We're on offense. Okay, what was the execution piece that led to us not scoring? Okay, if it's looking at the defense, why did we not get a stop? All 100 possessions, okay, there's a reason why we didn't get a stop on that play. Some of it is you play good defense and you force the shot you want. You live with that type of shot. Some of it is, this is the coverage that went into that possession, and we didn't execute it well enough. Maybe we didn't get the box out. Maybe there was a high volume of transition plays. So you just evaluate why you didn't score, why you didn't stop, and you try to reach perfection.
During those film sessions, has there been any players that's vocal or that kind of speaks out?
Book's the most vocal in our film sessions, but a lot of guys will speak out on their clips. Like we're teaching and correcting, and a lot of times we'll ask guys like, "Hey, Nurk, what are you seeing on this play? What's your review?" And ask them to engage a little bit more. But Book's been our most vocal guy this week.
Grayson last night shouted out Book on defense as well with his communication. Over the years, we've seen him kind of grow into that leader, but with your perspective, I'm curious, as the guy here for 1 year, how you evaluated him as a leader and how vocal he is.
Yeah, as good as anyone I've been around. His IQ of the game, obviously he's got the reputation of being an assassin scorer, but his defensive IQ is one of his greatest strengths. He's got a great feel for the game plans we're putting in, the details that go around executing those. It's not just the 2 guys on the ball. Like, he's always pointing out like a weak side defender can be in more, or if there's a 3-man eye on the backside, that only 2 guys got to be in and the 3rd guy's got to be ready to get to the backside. He really is detail oriented in that regard, and again, it's one of his strengths.
When you look at the 2 games that you coached Booker against New Orleans, what has you guys or Booker been able to do that's led to those kind of?
You gotta ask him that. I just get out of his way. I give him the ball. I say, "Hey, give Book the ball," and then he goes nuts, goes bananas. So you have to ask him that.
But there are situations where where he frees himself up, but then there are actual plays where he's able to get his book. So it's a balance of letting him be free, but seeing he's hot and figuring out different ways to get him the
Yeah,
ball.
we know how to get him the ball in all the ways that we can, whether it's post, pin downs, pick and rolls, off ball split action, and we know what kind of coverages they're going to see, and we continue to just just for all of our guys, make sure they're reading the coverages the right way and seeing some of the soft spots where they can get to a 3-point pull up, or situations where they can race a big, like all those types of things we game plan for. And we talk about a lot about game planning being like, how are we going to scheme defensively? But the offensive game plans that our coaches put together, that I instruct our guys with those types of reads, they're high level as well. We try to honor both sides of the ball.
I'm curious what you think of the depth of the Western Conference this year, and if it's any similar or different from what you've seen in the past.
The depth is incredible. I mean, like, you look at the teams that are in the 8th, 9th, 10th spot. Great teams, great players, great teams. And it's unfortunate that there's going to be some great players and some great teams that miss the playoffs. But that's just the nature of this thing. It's highly competitive, and we all want to be the team that wins enough games to get in, secure one of those top 6 spots, but ultimately one of the top 8 spots. If you end up in the playing tournament, and this is as deep and as challenging, to achieve that regular season success as any season I can remember being a part of.
Coach, going off that, would you say that tomorrow's game against Orleans, just based on your standing, is the most important game of the season up to this point?
Yeah, but it's been that way for a couple weeks now. We've been in the playoffs. I think it was about 14, 15 games left where we said, hey, it's the playoffs before the playoffs. Every game is our most important game of the season, and that's no different for one.
Has that been the message to the guys? Like, for example, if you win tomorrow, I think it's easy for some people to be like, oh, they have top 6 wrapped up, but there's still more business to be done.
Definitely still more business to take care of. Every team we play in the Final Five is an elite team, in my opinion. And, we're going to have to be at our best to beat them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.